Hi everyone, I'm Kalyan Kumar and welcome to both Product Review and Chemistry Universe. This video is going to be about my setup for taking online classes, and I'm posting this both in my Product Review channel and Chemistry channel as it is relevant to both. Now this setup that I use has not happened overnight. The gear that I use has not been purchased only for online classes, but in fact has been accumulated over years for my YouTube videos and has been adapted for taking online classes. The reason I call it an advanced setup is because I believe this is the best setup a teacher can have, where the instructions can be given by showing videos, presentations, demos, animations, and of course whiteboard writing. And all of this without choppy video. Because whenever you do a Zoom call and you do screen sharing, in case you play a video, the video will not run for more than 12 frames a second. And that is going to be very, very choppy. Whereas in this setup, you will not have that. I will be mentioning the gear I'm using in each step. And with all of that out of the way, let's go teaching. So let's begin with the video hardware that I have. The first of all is my primary camera. This is the Panasonic AG-UX 180 4K professional camcorder. I bought it for my YouTube videos. Now it is the principal camera for my talking headshot angle during my online classes. This is the second camera, which is the Sony FDR AX53 4K. This is used for showing models during my classes. Now I teach chemistry and very often have to show molecular models during the class. It is also used when I need to show my phone or iPad in any meeting that I have, since I also help out with IT solutions for my institute. Now let's see the computer that hosts all this meeting. I take classes in Zoom, but all of my video and audio inputs come to OBS, which outputs these to Zoom, and more on that in the software section. The computer I'm using for hosting OBS and Zoom is this Tower PC by Lenovo, branded as ThinkPad. This is an i7 9th gen with 32 gigs of RAM and an NVIDIA Quadro P2200 GPU. Now, I used to make use of this for video editing last year, but since then I edit my videos in the Alienware 17R5 downstairs. And I use this PC for streaming purposes only. The third and perhaps the most important part of the live stream classes is the writing tablet. Now, this is the most expensive gear that I have of all, and something that I have been using for several years for my chemistry videos. This is the Wacom Mobile Studio Pro 16. This has a 4K display, fully functional independent Windows laptop, which is designed for artists and illustrators. It has the typical Wacom pen for writing. I use this to showcase videos, animations, presentations, and of course writing during my classes. Now comes the connection part. Now how do I connect the two cameras and the Wacom MSP16 to my computer? Well, the answer is the simplest one, and that is by using HDMI capture cards. Now for those uninitiated with HDMI capture cards, it's a device that converts an HDMI signal to USB signal, which your computer recognizes as if it were a simple webcam. Now generally webcams, external ones, have USB interfaces, but the quality is pathetic to say the least. Even the Logitech Brio 4K or the C92 Logitech Full HD webcam have exceptionally low video quality. The sensors are tiny, they have very little processing power, plastic lenses, no optical zoom, and the list is endless. So using a dedicated high-end camera is very essential. But unfortunately, they don't have a USB cable attachment for your computer to recognize them as cameras. The only USB attachment they do have is for data transfer. Now these cameras, however, have HDMI out. So if a camera has a clean HDMI out, then capture cards can convert their HDMI signals to USB signals. I currently use 3 capture cards, 2 by Evermedia, and the third is a generic one. Now comes the audio part. For audio, I use my Zoom H6 portable handy recorder, in which currently this particular audio is being recorded as an external sound card. I use a lapel mic and connect the H6 to my computer with a USB cable. Now my computer recognizes the H6 as an audio interface. I can control the volume, mute and unmute controls using the recorder itself. Now that we have made all the connections, how do we do the Zoom call actually with 3 devices connected to the computer as a webcam source? Because your Zoom can take only 1 camera, and if you go into the advanced setting, maybe you can add 1 more camera. But how do you use this? With 3 of them. Now, instead of using my Wacom to start a call and do screen sharing, which limits many aspects of my classes, including showing videos, as I mentioned earlier, I use a separate computer, the ThinkPad. In this computer, I run OBS. Now, if you don't know what OBS is, it's a free software available for both Mac and Windows, which is the best software designed for recording and streaming. It outputs all the 3 sources in the form of scenes that you can customize with transitions to Zoom. Zoom takes all the output from OBS as if it were a single source. So all the magic happens in OBS and Zoom simply outputs it, whatever is being input into it by OBS. Now I have set up 5 scenes for my classes. Scene 1 is my main camera. Scene 2 is my Wacom MSP16. Scene 3 is a combination of the 2 sources set up in a particular way. Now most YouTubers that I've observed who make lessons and tutorial videos tend to show what they are writing or showing along with their webcam in a small window. I find it completely useless because a student or a viewer cannot focus on 2 things at the same time. Either you show your face while explaining something or show what you're doing. Sometimes, as I'm explaining certain things, I want to look at the students in their eye and point out certain things on my screen, which is why I need to show both of them. But I use this sparingly, and this is my scene 3. Scene 4 is my second camera, in which I show molecular models. Scene 5 is a still image which I show in the beginning as the students are entering the Zoom class. Now how do I switch scenes? I can use keyboard shortcuts to change the scenes, or I use another free software called Touch Portal, which helps me change scenes like a professional switcher. It converts my mobile phone or iPad into a professional switcher, as this free software is available for both versions, iOS and Android. Generally, when you use any video meeting application like Zoom, you select your video source and audio source directly in Zoom. Now, depending on your internet connection, sometimes they are in sync and sometimes they are not in sync. That is because the audio packets can be sent faster as they have less data, while video data takes longer because they contain more data. OBS not only lets me output multiple scenes, multiple videos to Zoom, it also solves my audio delay issue. Now I use what is known as NDI plugins and NDI tools. Don't worry if you don't follow, because these will take their own separate tutorials for anyone to understand. Basically, what they do is they output whatever scene is in my OBS as a webcam. My audio also gets processed through OBS. Here I can add filters such as background noise, suppression, etc. to kill off fan noise, add EQ, etc. Then the audio is also output as a microphone to Zoom. The advantage is that I can create delay in my audio while it is being sent to Zoom to eliminate the sync issue. Generally, I keep the delay as minus 950 milliseconds, and just as my class starts, I clap my hands a couple of times and ask my students whether they find any sync issue. And if they do, I change the settings till the audio and video are perfectly in sync. So in Zoom, I select my video source as the NDI plugin, and in audio, I choose the line NDI. And by switching between scenes, I can telecast different angles of shots and multiple cameras and other media sources. Now comes a very interesting part. How many times have you attended a Zoom meeting and found yourself looking at the screen instead of the camera? How many times have you had someone doing the same in your Zoom meeting? No one ever looks at a camera directly. In most cases, the webcam or your phone camera is close to the screen, and you may feel they are looking at the camera, but actually they are not. So how do you look at the camera directly, make eye contact with your listeners and viewers, and also the screen simultaneously? Answer is simple: use a teleprompter. Now in my case, I use an iPad with a teleprompter, but the best scenario is to use a good size monitor with HDMI connections. Now the way I use it is use a software called Space Desk in both my PC and iPad. Once the app is open in both, connect to your computer with the iPad app, and your computer detects your iPad as a second monitor. Now if you want, you can mirror your entire computer on your monitor. Now if I were to use this workflow, that I mirror my computer on my iPad, I will see my computer screen right in front of the camera, but it will be laterally inverted because in the teleprompter there's a mirror. So if my iPad is simply mirroring my computer, the moment I place it on the teleprompter, the mirror will invert it horizontally and I won't be able to read anything, and all my things will be, all the left will be on right, all the right will be on the left. This means your computer screen will be reflected by the teleprompter glass and will be horizontally inverted. So you won't be able to read anything properly. The way to fix this is to use a software called Ultramon. Now this is a paid software, but you get some days trial free. So when your computer display gets on the iPad using Space Desk, it automatically goes to the extended monitor mode. Keep it that way. Don't make it duplicate. Now run Ultramon. This will detect the iPad display and will then proceed to mirror the computer display on it. Now while mirroring, you have the option of inverting the display horizontally. With that, when you place your iPad on the teleprompter, you can see everything properly because you've already got it laterally inverted, and the mirror will laterally invert it again. With an iPad and Space Desk, there will be a bit of a lag due to Wi-Fi mirroring, but if you use a monitor, a proper monitor with HDMI cable that fits into your teleprompter, there won't be any delay at all. And this is how I take my Zoom meetings. But I don't use this iPad with a teleprompter during my classes, as I don't allow my students to switch on their webcams. I don't need to see them while teaching. So that concludes this video, and I hope you enjoyed this. And if you're intrigued by what you saw and need further explanation, please write those in the comment section below. Or if you feel that you have a better workflow, please share it with me. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you like seeing more videos like these, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. This is Kalyan Kumar signing off. Have a nice and wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy, and I'll catch you in the next one.